Ladies and gentlemen, Unscripted is in the building. Oh my goodness, EB, how you living, brother?
Hey, we're doing great. We're doing great. And welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show.
I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but we had a fire. So this is my temporary setup. Just letting you know. We're trying to stay positive and stuff. But
Yeah. Talk about that,
yeah,
brother. Talk about that because look, you and I was down there visiting you. We had breakfast, we had brunch. The families were together. It was a beautiful morning. We went our separate ways. We was going to kick back and eat because we ate so much. And you had an unfortunate situation. Talk to us about
yeah.
just how the family is doing after your ordeal.
Just a long story short. So we came home after that. We ate so much. I mean, I laid down, took a nap. Daughter was in the house. She said, "Hey, oh my God, there's smoke." So my wife wakes me up. I run out there. I look in her room because her room is down the hallway. I looked in her room. I was like, it's the light smoke. So I'm thinking, oh, they're barbecuing or something. Light smoke. Go to the living room and black smoke just comes coming in here. Anyway, long story short, the neighbors downstairs burnt the apartment up and burnt all our everything up. It just went up. The whole thing went up. So we're doing good. We're in a temporary spot. Insurance, doing what they can right now. It's a process.
Yeah.
It's slow. I guess it is slow for But anyway,
Yeah.
we're here today, and we're able to
Look,
do the show today. So
look,
that I am thankful for.
yeah, all that matters is no one was hurt, no one was
Yep.
injured, everyone was able to get out in time. So that's a blessing in and of itself. You can replace stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to get that call that you guys are in the hospital or whatever the case may be. So let's look at that side of it. We got some folks in the
which
building.
which is really yeah, which is
Yeah,
really scary because I mean,
yeah,
think about it. It was like midday. So
yeah. It
can
was
you
like
imagine if we were
right after
asleep?
12 o'clock, right? It was.
Exactly. So yeah. So if we were asleep, if it was later in the evening and we
Yeah,
were actually asleep,
yeah.
who knows? But definitely insurance. I've never thought how important insurance was until what I'm saying, something like this happens, and
Yeah,
it's important. And thank God we have insurance. We had insurance, or we have it still.
yeah,
But yeah, definitely important. If there's any takeaway from that, make sure you cover your family because you just
man.
never know whether you're renting or your homeowner's insurance. I'm sure everyone knows you got to have homeowners. But anyway, moving forward, we got a great show for you today. We got a gentleman here that's awesome. Known this guy for a little while in the gym. Oh my God! You wait till you talk to him, Mr. Benjamin Artz.
We're gonna do
Can we
part
bring him
two.
on?
We're gonna do part two.
Part two. Yeah, part two.
Ben, what's up
There
with
he
you,
is.
brother?
Look at that
Hello,
smile.
gentlemen. Hello, gentlemen. How are we tonight?
We good, man. Look, we're gonna do it again. Last time we did it, it was great. No, look, let me tell you something. I was in the Airbnb again. I had my MiFi going, my iPhone trying to tether. It kept falling off. It was brutal. It was, but when we out here doing this live streaming thing in these streets, you get what you get.
Yeah.
80%
We
of the
go.
show was phenomenal. It turned into a great podcast that we put out there on the site. But we want to get that rest of that 20% today and have the conversation with you, man. But talk to the folks about who you are, how you've been since the last time we chatted to you, because there may be some folks joining that weren't here for part one. But tell the folks who Ben Artz is.
Well, Benjamin Artz. Ben Artz left Australia 8 years ago, but Benjamin Artz,
Oh, well, let me
he's
fix that right now. Hold on. Let me.
no, you're fine, mate. You're fine. Like everyone, I always introduce myself as Benjamin, and before you know it, people will start calling me Ben, and I'm like, wait a minute. I introduced myself as Benjamin. Why are you changing my name when I haven't changed my name? So no, it's just a little idiosyncrasy about me that I'll let people know. And but yeah, no, I'm an Australian fella. I came out here 8 years ago and basically left Australia with a dream and goals and a focus in my eyes. And I got slightly derailed, but I'm back on track. I'm a coach. I'm a mentor. I'm a life coach. I'm a daddy. And I like to think I'm an all-around good bloke who's trying to find his way in the world, and he's got a fair idea of who he is and what he's about and where he's going and what he wants to do. And I'm a very loving, passionate individual, and the more I can help people create a better life for themselves helps the healing journey that I'm going through. And as I heal, I help other people heal. And if I can be that role model or set the example for fathers to be better fathers and brothers to be better brothers and husbands to be better husbands, then, I'll do whatever I can to make that happen.
I love that. I love that. And see, first time we chatted, you notice I corrected that too. It's now Benjamin.
I appreciate that.
First time we chatted, we started going down the path really of talking about mainly training, exercise, nutrition, because that's where you and Eric really kind of first met. But the conversation completely shifted, and we really started talking more about your life coaching activities, about again, like you were saying, the healing, self introspection, understanding our limitations, understanding who we are as individuals. I think we want to continue some of that conversation today, but EB, let me let you get into it, brother, about some of the things that you wanted to pick off with Benjamin.
Well, just to go back to the name thing, about it's funny that he said, I hope I don't think I said Ben. I think I said Benjamin. But anyway,
you better get it right, man.
That's like my son. My son's name is Christopher, but people will say, "Hey, how's Chris?" I say Topher. So it's funny. It's funny you say that. I say his name is Christopher.
I was born Benjamin, and it's funny because all my life I hated being called Benjamin, and it's only when my life changed and I moved to the States. I realized I needed to start being proud. Like, I was always ashamed of my middle name. My middle name is Alwyn, and I was like, Alwyn? What sort of a name is Alwyn? It's like, no one's ever called Alwyn. Everyone thinks Alvin the Chipmunk, and I know it's Alwyn. And so I found it very embarrassing being a man, thinking it's a girly name. But now, as I've gotten older, same with Benjamin. I always just thought it was just a very gentle name. But for some reason, over the last couple of years, and when I left Australia, I'm Benjamin Artz, and I'm very proud of that. And it took me 35 to 40 years to own that, but that's who I am. And, and I own it, and I love it now. And I enjoy being called Benjamin. So, funny enough, that's me. So it's all good. It's all good.
And it's funny you talk about that. As far as man and being, what it means to be a man, and some of the myths and misconceptions of what people think being a man is and what a man can take and do. It's a lot of what when we talked in the last show, a lot of what we mentioned something about, that's not something a man will typically own up to or be about. Let's go over some of that and things that you thought that were like crying, somebody said, well, it may not be manly to cry, but I mean, why? If we have these emotions, why can't we express those as a man?
We've all got things in our life that will make us emotional, and we've been taught from our younger days, and especially if you're an athlete in some sort of way, it was all about harden up. And I think I said last time, in Australia we call it Home Depot, we call it Bunnings, but in Australia it's like go to Bunnings or Home Depot and grab a bag of cement and swallow it and harden up. And we're not allowed to be tough. I'm soft. Sorry, we're not allowed to be soft. So being an ex-athlete, I was conditioned like that, and I think I stopped crying when I was probably about 10 years of age, and that's when I started stepping into high levels of sport. And if you show a little bit of weakness, whether you've stubbed your toe or someone stepped on you, you just get up, shrug it off, keep moving. And I took that into all areas of my life. And, a lot of emotional trauma through my childhood and things like that, and then teenage years, and then, breakups with girlfriends, and I would just shut down, and I wouldn't communicate, and I'd become like a blank slate. And it was only when I was in my 30s, I think it was, and my best friend was my manager at my work, and he had to come, and then he basically became like an area manager, and I became a manager, and I was not managing the store very well, and a couple of my staff were complaining about me, and he had to come in, and even though he was my best friend, he had to sit me down and give me a word. And it was my best mate, and I just shut down. And he goes, Benny, I know you do this. He goes, I'm not trying to, I'm trying to communicate with you here. And I was just a blank slate. And that's how I dealt with things. When any things were hurting me emotionally, I would just shut down. And I would do that in all areas of my life. And I just found that, nothing ever got better. No problems ever got solved. And it just wasn't working for me. And up until the age of 35, 40, when my marriage broke down, I was still that guy that would sweep things under the carpet, hope that things would sort themselves out, but wouldn't go inward to say, well, maybe there's something within me that I need to start healing and take a real good look at. And it's only when I got myself some coaching, and my coaches were telling me and helping me investigate and opening me up into these character traits and these stories that I'd created around myself and around who I was and who I am. And these stories were very untrue. And so I had to go back and back and back and further. And, and I had to work on the vulnerability and see where it all basically shut down to open it back up again. And now, I'm a big crier. And I was actually sitting there earlier today thinking we might talk about, something today, and I'll end up talking about my daughters. And that's the first thing. Like, I've had to step into the gym and go into a quiet spot and have a bit of a cry in the gym. And, just talking to other people who even just first time I meet. And we just start talking about our kids, and I'll break down in the middle of a conversation in the gym, and tears of the waterworks will be going. But back in the day, I probably would have run and hide. But no, that's who I am.
Yeah.
And I embrace everything about me. And if I got to cry, and I don't care where it is and who I'm around, if those are the feelings that I'm feeling right there and then in that moment, they're coming out. And it's not soft. It's beautiful. It's vulnerable. It's who we are. When we repress these things, this is when we cause trouble within ourselves, which will flow on to other areas of our lives. So we got to get these things out. And I'm not saying, be waterworks 24/7 because, a little bit's too much. But, as a man, yes, we cry. As a man, yes, we feel. As a man, yes, we hurt. And these are all beautiful things about us. But the thing is, what men need to do is communicate these things and speak like we are speaking now and not get angry. Like, anger is a very human emotion, but how we deliver this anger when we hold things in and explode, no, that's not what we want. We can stress and make our point of view in a strong, firm, but gentle way as well, where we're not detracting from other people. So, passion is very good, but we need to express. Men have been holding stuff in for too long, and this is why we're having marriage breakdowns, where you got suicide rates. Suicide rates are through the roof, and a lot of it, the majority of it's men, because we're not healing, we're not doing the work, we're not expressing, we're not feeling, we're not talking, and it's beautiful, man. When we get a bunch of guys together, sometimes with alcohol, but preferably without alcohol, and they just start opening up. Oh, man, it's so beautiful. It's just men communicating and talking about their deepest and darkest. It's a beautiful experience. It really is.
James, really quick, I don't mean to interrupt. Do you have show the picture of his before and after? I'm going to tell you what shows this guy's before and after. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this guy, if to see him in the gym, he could be intimidating. And he's talking about crying and expressing his emotions. Not to mention, look at his before and after. I mean,
you didn't know we were going to put this one on the screen, did you? That wouldn't
talk about your like, again, your how you feel, how you look outside sometimes is a reflection of how you feel inside. And look at how when he changed his perspective, if you will, it changed him. Look at it, changed his life. It changed his whole life. So check. That's amazing.
I'll explain this. So the guy on the for me, it's on the left-hand side. The guy who's looking pretty average and pretty poor. That was very insecure, lost, despondent, miserable, had no focus, had no purpose in life. Like I said, very lost and didn't know where he was, didn't know his place. He was a father, he was a husband, but he was miserable. And I was searching, hoping, wishing, but I was sitting in the one spot hoping that it would find me. And then, and this guy was not emotional. This guy was, there was no tears coming out of this guy. He was like a blank slate. He wasn't feeling anything. He was a good person, but he was very, very lost and very just a shadow or a shell of, and very ashamed. Like I used to look in the mirror and I hated myself. I hated the way I look. I was just extremely miserable, very insecure, a lot of issues. So the guy on the right is obviously who I am today, because that was only, 2 days ago.
Was that yesterday? Was that yesterday?
Yes. So I haven't changed much since then. But
so let me tell you something. So I'm literally standing up today, so I'm getting my movement time in. I mean, my stand time in, because I went and trained about an hour and a half before the show, just so I can at least look like I'm still in it right now. Look the part. But go ahead, brother.
I can see your cheekbones. They're beautiful. I know who I am now. All right. So previously I had no purpose. I didn't know who I was. I was very lost. Now I know who I am and know what I'm about. I got values. I know my worth. I'll come to all relationships, whether it's a relationship with you guys, with a full cup, you know. I will give you my best. I'll show up. I'm showing up to my life. I show up to my daughter's lives. I show up to my friendships. It's not a person. So whoever my next partner is, you know, they got a person who is standing in their power, who believes in himself, who knows who he is, who's comfortable in his own skin, who's vulnerable, and who's a very loving individual, very caring, very kind. But, you know, I'm not to be fucked with. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's true.
And that's obvious, because I'm like, this guy, he came up to me, introduced himself, and I was like, oh, what, you know? But nice guy. He said, hey, I met your wife. I mean, super cool dude. And let me paint another picture. So I'm leaving the gym. I just got done doing cardio. He's stretching on the right there in the stretching area of the gym where I'm walking to go do my stretching. And he's got his phone set up. I'm thinking, okay, he's videotaping himself. This guy was FaceTiming his daughters. And I was like, that is incredible. That was amazing to me. You know, I mean, that's amazing. That was like this, I don't want to say super cute thing, because I don't know if men can say that.
No, we can say it. It's all good. It's all because I will say this. I have seen the latest stories on your Instagram feed, dude. And you're a happy man when you got your youngsters with you. I would just say that.
I'll tell you that. I mean, I'm gonna get emotional, but I miss my daughters. Like my situation right now is the ex has got full custody, and it really hurts and it's hard. I have 15-minute phone calls. I had a month and a half where I had no contact, and anyone who knows me, my daughters are my world and my everything. And I know half the reason why my marriage broke down is because the ex wanted her to be the queen and be everything. And I'm the type of person that, you know, you're my partner. You are my everything, you know, but she needed that attention 24/7. And my daughters were my world and my everything. And, you know, I see errors in my ways. And then to have the court process go through, and I can't talk too much about it now because it's still going through and all this sort of stuff. But I'm doing everything that the court has asked me to do, and then some. I shouldn't be in this position, but I'm in this position for various reasons. But please know, I did nothing wrong. It's one word against the next, and I learned that you don't ever go to court without having representation. I just thought that when you say the whole truth and nothing but the truth, that's what people are going to be telling, and it's not the case. So I've
been there, done that.
Yeah. So it's very hard, but I have 15-minute phone calls a day. I've got representation now, and my lawyers fought for me to get phone calls. So it's hard because I got a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, and it's not like they sit down and the camera's at their faces and I can talk to them like we're talking right now. It's basically the 4-year-old. She wants to come to daddy's house like she always did come to daddy's house. And then when I say, listen, honey, we can't just yet, then she doesn't want to talk to daddy because she's upset because she can't come to daddy's house. So then the phone gets passed to the 1-year-old, and I do a really good job of talking to the roof, or I'm talking to the floor. And it's really hard. I can hear her trying to talk to dad, making her noises, but so it's still really hard. But I do my best to really enjoy the moment, because 15 minutes is better than some people don't even get that, you know, and my daughters are still alive. I'm still alive. So I'm very grateful, and I'm not, I'm not going to rub the thing up the wrong way, but I have to be strong for my daughters. I have to be strong for myself. And, but it is hard. Like today was a very emotional day today for me, you know, and I just, like I said, I was thinking I was going to get on here, talk about my daughters and start crying. And normally I probably would, but you know, I feel like that, but that's who I am, man. My daughters are my world. They are my absolute world. And to go through what I've gone through, you know, even my coaches have even said to me, I said, the other side couldn't have gone through what I've gone through and do such a great job and still live, you know. And this is what I don't tell too many people, but only a couple of weeks ago, when I wasn't having any contact with it, and I'm a strong guy and I'm very passionate, I know where I am, but I even had thoughts for the first time in my head that maybe life would be easier if I wasn't around. And then the next thought that popped in my head was, I'm not going to have my daughters grow up without their daddy. But it was a real conversation I had in my head. And I called up and I spoke to a psychologist a couple of days afterwards. He didn't tell me anything I didn't bloody already know. But, you know, a couple $100 later. But, you know, I could have done that myself. And just sat there and went, oh, yeah. I'm like, fuck. But anyway, you got to do what you got to do. But
Right.
I had that conversation with myself, and then I talked myself out of that, and it wasn't like a long-lasting moment. But men need to talk about these things because, yes, there is a path forward. There is a way. And if I have to go through this temporary pain to have this long-term satisfaction the rest of my life with my daughters,
Yeah.
then I'll do whatever I've got to do, and I'll jump whatever hill, I'll walk through whatever fire, I'll take whatever whipping that I've got to do, and forgiveness is the key, and the longer I stay angry, the harder it is for me to have a relationship with my daughters, and the harder relationship I can have with their mother and whoever my future partner is. So it doesn't matter what happened, find forgiveness, find compassion, and that's what I have, and it's put me in a better place, and then I can deal with these phone calls and keep pushing through, and then communicate with the lawyers, and then when we get back to court, and then hopefully get everything overturned, and then I have my freedom back with my daughters. That's all I care about. Everything else in my life is going really well. I just want to have my daughters in my arms again, and my heart will be so full when I can have my daughters back in my arms. And I don't get the good night daddies anymore, and I don't get the good morning daddies.
It's coming, brother. It's coming.
Yeah,
It's coming.
yeah. Just know that.
Yeah. So Milton asked before you go on. Milton asked me to show the story. I'm not going to show the story, but I will put the link to your feed because it's a public feed, and if anyone wants to take a look at there, they can do that themselves. But it's a wonderful thing to see, and again, time will be on your side for sure. I just wanted to say that, and then EB.
No, I appreciate that. I think any father would feel how I feel right now, and There was a few times I'd walk down the street and I'd see other parents with their kids, and I would just stop and I'd just break down crying, and I'd just say, really enjoy these moments, because I took it for granted. I used to walk, like everyone, like in my area, they always see me playing with my girls in my front yard or walking the streets with my daughters, and then having all these people when it was all just fresh and I had my daughter and I couldn't see my daughters, and people would be like, oh, where's the girls today? And I'd be crying, and then the next person, oh, where's the girls? Oh, I cried again. And I'd be standing at the front with my dogs, and people walk past, where's the girls? There it comes again. And it was for weeks on end, but that's who I am. And, and then I'd share a little bit of the story, and they'd tell me that we love seeing you with your girls, and they'll be back in your arms soon, and just stay strong. So I appreciate you guys, and, but it's to all the fathers out there and mothers, just sort whatever shit you got to sort out, and don't hurt each other with your kids, because my weakness is my daughters, which my ex knows. But now it's built a lot more resilience, and I'm a lot stronger for the situation. Yeah.
Just because your words mean so much. The last text out there from Milton, I actually wanted him to come on there because he's actually a father, and he's a good father for his daughter. And you are reaching. Well, what I want you to do, my goal is for you to reach there's so many good fathers out there, and there's so many good fathers that don't have the knowledge that maybe you can help with, because honestly, I know the mom is the foundation, and I really, really respect that, and that's always been a plus for me. But the father also has a role. Their biological father has a role, and I think that's important. And I think the information and knowledge that you bring is so powerful, man.
The thing is with guys is, like I said before, we can go back to my dad only ever told me that he loved me after he told me that I was a dickhead or I'd done something stupid. I love you, bud. I love you. No, love needs to be 24/7, and love is with your actions. It's with everything you do, the way you present yourself to the world, and to your family and your daughters. Like, love is not just after they've given you an ass kicking and then telling you that I love you. So the more I love you that you can generally give and generously give, is how how you love your kids. And I can't walk past my daughters even if she's just sitting on the couch watching TV. I'll walk past and kiss her on the head and just keep moving. And that's just who I am. Or I'll come here, give daddy a hug and footy tackle, and then leave her alone. And 1,000 kisses a day. And if you can give them more than 1,000 kisses a day, then great, keep doing it. Love it. Because you'll rue the day when you can't.
So you notice again, the conversation started talking. And this is, I think, the right place to go, because we started talking about, again, fitness, training, nutrition, things like that, taking care of the body, taking care of external pieces of ourselves, right? But look again where it's gone. It's gone to. It's gone to the more important things in life, right? It's gone to making sure that the internal you is taken care of. Look at this.
Going to the heart.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me throw that up there again.
It's gone to the heart.
I love it.
There it is.
I love it.
It's gone to the heart.
But again, right? Because that's the conversation that I also want to have, right? Because again, how are you as a life coach as well, not just as a personal trainer, your clients and the folks that you engage with, telling them to look inwards to be better in all aspects of their life, not just being able to push up bigger plates in the gym, but actually being able to be a more effective person in society, a more effective father, a more effective husband, wife, whomever the case may be, right? Because you've had to look inwards with a lot of things going on in your life, and you can translate that to your clients. We know we know what caused you to stumble. Right. We know that. But how did you get yourself out of that? What was it that got you to say, you know what, I'm not going to wallow in this. I'm not going to go hide in a corner. How do I get myself to be a better person to my daughters and to me? And how do I also train other folks to, learn from my mistakes or learn from my teachings and things like that? What was that thing or that caused you to look introspectively and say, I can actually help other folks with their situations?
Well, going back to there's a combination of motivating factors for myself. One, I wanted more out of life. Also, I wanted to be that guy that my daughters could look up to. And I knew that, because at the end of the day, I was having this conversation with people yesterday, I think it was, that my daughters are going to find the guy that they start dating is going to be a reflection of some way of their father. So if their father is a broken, miserable, insecure, old, miserable man, I can't expect them to go and meet a great guy because, that's all they've known what a man is about. They will resonate more with who I am than their grandfather or uncles and stuff like that. Same with the mother. So there's one thing that I knew long ago, which I'd forgotten, that whatever issues that the parents don't deal with will be passed on, and their kids will have to deal with them. And if they don't deal with it, then it'll be passed on to the grandkids. So I realized that I wanted to be the man that my daughters deserved, and I wanted to also be the man that I deserved to be in my life because, I wasn't showing up to my life, and so I wanted more. And I knew I could be more, and I was ashamed, and I knew I needed to put the effort in, because the thing is also, like, I've always put effort in the gym, but the outside of the gym, the level didn't match to the intensity or the passion that I had for the gym, or my other passion is basketball, so I had to create, my life had to be as passionate as I am to my gym workouts and basketball. And once it started matching, things started to transform. Now, my body, people don't realize that the difference in the transformation from when I was not in shape to when I was in shape, the only thing that I really changed was the inner stuff and dealing with the inner stuff and becoming a better person and digging out all the old wounds and opening them up and investigating them and healing them. That's what really transformed my external body, because I was already eating a pretty good diet and I was already training pretty hard, but it was only when the emotions started getting healed internally, then the body started, because all my cravings started going away, and then my addiction started going away, because I didn't realize the emotions were driving the addictions and driving the cravings and things like that. So when all that started going away, then I was like, oh, okay, there's something in this. And this is where a term, I don't know if someone else has already created the term or trademarked it, but I call it generational hereditary, which is... when you've got hereditary, supposed to be sicknesses in the families, you've also got hereditary emotions and feelings and not dealing with emotions and feelings and character traits. And they become generational, because I guarantee you, how I think right now, my grandfather and my great-grandfather thought similar, or if it was in a negative way, and they would have passed it on to my parents, and then my parents passed it on to me, and then I can potentially pass it on to my kids, and so on, if I don't sit in it right now and address it and see it and go, hey, this is not working, I need to change my life. So we're not victims, but someone's got to make the change. And so these things, when I recognize that a lot of things that I was doing in my life right now was a generational hereditary type thing from my mum and my father, I was motivated to change that and transform that. So therefore my daughters, and hopefully I get a son somewhere along the way, they, do a better job of their lives and don't have to wait till they get to 43 before they go, right, we got to solve all these problems that my dad gave me.
Yeah. I think that's what we do. But and we have to look back, and like you said, forgiveness is big. I love my dad. I've always loved my dad, but there are things that I want to change that, that my grandfather, then my dad, then me, that I did not want to pass on to my son or my kids at all, my daughters at all. So I think that is when you talk about generational hereditary, it goes both ways, because you can easily pass on that negative and just keep it going, right? And keep it going. Yep. But it takes someone to kind of stand up and say, hey, you know what? I don't think I want this for my kids. I want better for my kids. I need to be a better example. I grew up in the past where in a generation where you get your ass whooped. It wasn't no, you want to call the lawyer? My dad said, call a lawyer.
The lawyer coming and whip you too, right? I grew up where the neighbors would get you too, so don't get it twisted. I grew up with the neighbors.
I saw it, and my dad was a great example. Dude, my dad was a Marine, right? So everything that I liked about him, and oh man, but I knew that there was something that needed to change because I was going down that same path. And for me, it was when and again, I went through a divorce and, my first marriage, and we don't talk about that. But my motivation was my daughter, Devin, coming up to me where she was 3 years old. We're sitting in Sacramento. She comes up to me, puts her arm around me and says, Dad, don't worry about it. I'll take care of us. And I was like, whoa, I need to get my shit together, and that was my push. And like you said, your kids are your push because you want them, although she's probably seen the sides I've never want. Then my son came later, but again, we want the best for our kids. I'm hoping that it wasn't so much. She's met a great guy now. I mean, my daughter's got they have a great relationship, and probably seeing me, she knew that she needed to make sure her life, me and her mother, but she knew that she needed to make her life better. She's like my sounding board in many things. She's she's my oldest, so she's my 30. Yeah, she's like 30.
Sometimes our kids can be more.
I don't put it out there. She's gonna be mad, but she's my sounding board, and we bounce off each other because I think that's important. And then with her kid, oh my God, if you see my grandson, oh my God, he's amazing. He's an amazing kid,
and that's beautiful.
Let me put this comment out here by Milton, because this is an interesting comment. Milton says she did not stand alone, but what stood behind her, the most potent moral force in her life, was the love of her father. Too many little girls being separated from their fathers in this society, and this was actually in response to something that you were saying earlier, Benjamin. So I wanted to put that out there. That was just really. And
it's so true. And it's so true. Like and from what I've been hearing, and there's similar stories on both sides of the fence. Like there's some horrible men who have taken their kids away from the women. So it goes vice versa. It's not all one way. But this is why I try and impress that. When the elephants fight, it's the grass that gets damaged. So when the parents are at each other's throats, it's the kids who get hurt. So we need to really, this is one thing that I make sure I do on the phone calls with my daughters now is I say, and mother and I weren't getting on very well for a while there, and the grandparents, so I make sure every time I speak to my daughters, I say, tell mummy I love her very much, and tell grandma and papa that I love them very much, and then give everyone a kiss from me. And I make sure my 4-year-old does that because I need to show her that daddy's a better person and that we can heal all these wounds. And moving forward, I want to create a great relationship with the whole family. So therefore, my daughters can grow up and see, right, people can have arguments, but they can solve problems and they can be good people and they can move forward. And they don't have to hang on to stuff because, as we know, if you're angry about someone else, it's like you drinking poison and expecting them to die.
Wow.
It's just... we've got to be more mature and wake up. They upset me, all right, for whatever reason it upset me, but do you think they actually give a shit that I'm upset? No, otherwise they wouldn't have upset me. So the more I hang on to it is only negatively affecting my life. So when you realize where it's coming from, the origin, they're doing what they want to do because they want to do what they want to do. Don't take it personally.
Keep going. Keep going.
Don't take it personally. Sum up the situation and say, right, do I really need to let this feed into my life and negatively affect me? Or can I move and, maneuver through this so my daughters and I can have a better life? That's what we want at the end of the day. So when I go back to your original question, this whole transformation had to be for me and my life first. If I'm not doing it for me in my life, then the motivation will go out the window. If I'm doing it for someone else or another purpose that is above and beyond me, then the motivation will go out the window. So it has to become a lifestyle, has to become a commitment to being committed, has to be disciplined to being disciplined. And so this is what I had to become, because also too, I know that if I change me for the better and my life becomes better for me, then everyone around me in my inside circle and outside circle is going to benefit from it. But if I just do it for my daughters, there's going to be a morning where I wake up and like, oh, they won't care if I don't look after myself today, and I go and drink a bottle of whiskey and I just go and be an absolute prick to everyone I come into. And then tomorrow I'll get back on the horse. No.
Doesn't work that way.
Every single day. And this is why, you know, we can go into the question you asked me earlier about, unless you want to ask me that first.
well, let's go ahead and get focused here just for 1 second, because the comments are blowing up, and the reason is I want you to see this one right in the content creation world. That emblem right there is you dropping gems, brother. So I need to get some sound effects, something going, because you dropping a lot of knowledge here, and I'm hoping folks are taking account.
Don't make
to
me
this.
press the buttons. Don't make me press the buttons.
Yeah, see, Benjamin, he's got his mixing board there now, and he's got some toys in his hand. But I really hope that a lot of folks are taking these nuggets that you're dropping and positioning them in their own lives, right?
Yeah.
Whatever extreme they may be, major, minor, whatever the case may be, but you're saying things that relate to everyone, irregardless of their current situation, professional, personal, or whatever the case may be. So again, we started thinking we were going to talk a lot about training, exercise, nutrition, and stuff like that, but this has really turned into more of a life conversation that irregardless of men or women, husband, fathers, sons and brothers, whatever the case may be. So I wanted to pause and made that statement, pull up that comment there, but we'll get into that other piece in a little bit.
Fine.
EB, go ahead and get him, man. I'm taking notes because Benjamin is dropping them, boy. Look, Steve Worthy knows he over here dropping gems, boy.
And this is why I'm saying what he does, what Benjamin does, is so important, because when I went through my first divorce and we had the ordeal with the judge, and the judge just saying to me, again, I didn't have representation, because I'm thinking, okay, if I'm here and I'm present, they would be fair and say, hey, 50-50, right? No, they looked at me and said, no, this guy had a great job, making great money, everything was good. The difference is, maybe I look intimidating. I don't know. But all I know is that they said, you know what, you get 20% custody. Okay, fine. I get that, almost went contempt of court because I walked out and said, what? And I had to refrain myself. But let's go back to going to talking to, because I went to go talk to a psychiatrist, a psychologist or whatever. And, they listen to you, and they're there to listen. They're trained to listen, and they're trying to help me to focus on what I'm, they're telling me as I'm talking, what they're saying. That didn't help me. That did not help me.
Nah.
And just the things that you're helping is relatable. And I'm like thinking that's why that's more important than just going to this guy, paying this exorbitant amount of money for him just to say, you're just listening to me, and so how'd that make you feel? Well, how do you think it made me feel? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think what you do is important. And I think that is just, wow.
Well, the thing is that, like, you've got to sit back at the end of the day and say, what do I want out of my life, and where do I want to go, and who do I want to be, and what are my values, and what am I worth? So it really does. Like, I can sit here all the time and like, I was talking to someone the other day, and I've always been, even in a team sport, I was a very individual. I could still play as a team, but I was the guy, say, play basketball. I can take over the game and win the game off my own skills and ability. I've always had that ability, whether it's football or one of things like that. So I know how to play in a team, but I've always done very well by myself, and I've always functioned very well by myself. So I understand that in my marriage and in relationships in old businesses, I've had a codependency issue. So instead of me going, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, boom, 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 and then see things through, I'd be like, oh, what do you think about this? Where do you want to get at dinner tonight? What do you think? And then, so I was just losing my power. I was sacrificing myself, but I was living inside of someone who I wasn't. And so through all this, having my wife leave, having my daughters taken away from me, being in another country, not having any family over here. I've got friends, but they got busy lives, so I tend to leave them alone. I've had to sit here in my shit through the whole experience, pretty much all by myself. It's very hard to call your family when it's 3 o'clock in the morning over in Australia and it's 2 in the afternoon here and stuff like that. So I've had to sit here in my own tears and investigate with my own thoughts and say to myself, all right, no one's here to save you. You know, you got to do this shit yourself. So you got to sort through it. And do you want a better life, or do you want to keep pushing shit up a hill with a toothpick and hoping that someone's going to come save you, whether it's God, whether it's Jesus, whether it's whatever you believes in, Buddha, come to save you, because no one's going to save you but you. Now, God will be a helper. He'll enlighten you and enlighten your path, but you got to get off your own ass and start doing it yourself. Yeah. And if you don't do the work, nothing's going to change.
Y'all listening to this? Man.
Wait, what's that saying? What's that saying? God helps those who help themselves.
Exactly.
That's the same for a reason.
This is why people need to understand you are a co-creator. You're not a victim. So everything that I've, created in a negative in my life, I've had some part to play in it in some sort of way. Even if it's a little bit or a big bit, I've had a part to play in it. So accept that, change your ways, investigate yourself, but be gentle on yourself. You've got to be your own best friend through the journey. And don't be ignorant or pig-headed, because other people, even when they're hurting you, there is some truth in what they say. All right? And if there isn't, then you can totally disregard it. But well, if you wouldn't get hurt if there was no truth.
You wouldn't get hurt if it was, if there wasn't something like
As the saying
I'm
goes,
picking at the scab is what I'm doing. Just so you know, I'm instigating the conversation, but that's good right there, man.
You got to remember, like, if there's no demons on the inside, no demons on the outside can get in. So if someone says something to you and it hurts, all right, there's a demon on the inside that it's triggered, and you need to investigate that. Wow. You know, because when you are fully secure, like, say you got a wetsuit on or a shield on, armor and stuff like that, nothing from the outside can penetrate you, because you know who you are. You believe in yourself. You trust in yourself. You know your chinks in your armor. You know your strengths, and you accept them, and you're constantly working on them daily to improve. You're not just sitting there going, I got this shit. I'm the bomb. Because trust me, it's like you've got to be like a piece of timber that's been lacquered. All right, so if you don't put some lacquer or painting over that timber, you can pour water on that timber, and the water will find the cracks into that timber, and it'll bust it open eventually. So you've got to do the inner work on yourself, whether it's healing, investigating your traumas, and making peace with them and stuff like that. It doesn't matter how severe they are, because otherwise that water will get in somehow in some way, whether it be a relationship, whether it be work, and it'll bust it open, and you'll be exposed, and you'll be right back to where you freaking started from. And you've just got to constantly work. And people go, well, when does it end? It never ends. Never ends. You're never a complete package. You get pretty close, but you're never a complete package.
Speak on that, right? I mean, that right there. And look, you got a very attentive audience right now. Folks are resonating with your message. But again, every day is a journey, right? We never are to a point of perfection. We can strive for milestones. We can strive for goals. We can strive for whatever the mountaintop that we're trying to get to. But honestly, you're not going to get there, right? Because there's always a constant evolution. There's always a constant battle. There's always headwinds and things of that nature, right? That are pushing us back. But it's how do we, and I'm gonna put words in my own mouth, and maybe they agree with what you're saying, but there's always things that are pushing us back that we have to learn how to bend and flex and pivot and be able to adjust to, and still continue on that forward momentum. Because if we give in to those, like the words that we're using, demons, generational curses, if we give in to those negative connotations and feelings we have about ourselves and the folks around us, then we lose.
Well, the thing is it's you've got to fall in love with the journey. You've got to fall in love with the process. So I'm not in love with the goal. Whatever the goal ends up being, or the outcome, the future, whatever it is, will be created in whatever I'm doing in the moment. And whatever it will be open to interpretation or wherever it leads me. I'll let it evolve. But I've got to be in love with what I do from the moment my eyes wake up in the morning to the minute I fall asleep at night, and then everything in between. I've got to be in love with that. And then, like I say to people, like, when is your physique going to be, when are you going to be happy whether it is? Okay, cool. All right, if I get into the shape I am right now and I go and sit on the couch for 1 week, it won't look the same 1 week later. It's the same with the inner work that we're doing. If I don't do my meditation, if I don't read half a paragraph or a chapter a night, or if I don't do my daily routine of self-care, doing earthing, standing on the wet grass with my bare feet so I realign my body with the earth to diffuse a lot of the positive energy. See, people don't realize you got positive and negative energy, and too much positive charge from not earthing can also make you feel out of whack. So I do all these type of things, getting in the sun and stuff like that every single bloody day, because it's part of my self-care routine, which helps me be in the emotional state, the mental state, the physical state to be at my best, because we want to be at our best every single day. And it's very hard to be 100% on, but I'll do my best to be as close to 99 to 100% every moment I possibly can, because therefore I'm showing up to my life and I'm giving my life the best. And then whoever comes into contact with me in any sort of way will leave with the energy and the buzz. And I want to be around that guy more, because I want to be around me more. So if I want to be around me more, other people are going to want to be. So be that person.
Exactly. Be that person.
Benjamin Artz is
I think I made the mistake of last time saying, "Hey, I'm a work in progress." You guys jumped all over me.
Yeah, we tore you up, didn't we? We tore you up. Oh, yeah, man. Hey, Steve Worthy, I'm with you right here, brother. Hey, you might want to put that on a T-shirt. Fall in love with the journey. That may be on some press and so.
Benjamin Artz all over.
Look, no, hold on. Look, same thing he said. Press and so. We're gonna put that on some gear. Eric, I'm gonna let you go into a question that you probably had as well, but Benjamin mentioned the topic that I wanted to talk about, from the personal training perspective, and when are we good enough, or when are we satisfied with our results? The whole body dysmorphia thing, right? Again, because look, we'll go work out for an hour in the morning, maybe an hour at night, hit back and buys in the morning, hit legs and tries or whatever, and look in the mirror and we're pretty good. But something mentally, maybe with some folks, is like, man, I if I can get just a little more shredded going, if I can get from 10% body fat down to 8%, some of that's not sustainable. But again, you have those kind of thoughts and connotations. What is your conversation with folks that come to you about something like that, body dysmorphia? Because you brought it up, and again, we're talking more about now the mental aspect, right? We're talking about how you see yourself, how you get over your own humps and your own limitations that you're putting on yourself.
There's a beautiful saying. It says, "How you do one thing is how you do everything."
Okay.
So if you're the type of person who's like, a little bit more is okay, or a little bit less is okay, if you're an okay person, you'll never truly get to the extremes of whatever it is that you want to get to. And this is where I've learned with myself. I had to be a little bit obsessive to get where I wanted to be, whether it was my body, whether it's my business, whether it's my meditation practicing, whether it's cleaning the house. Anyone who's done anything great has been obsessive with whatever that they're trying to achieve. And people have called them crazy for a period of time until they do something that's amazing. And then they go, "Oh, wow, you're amazing." But they don't realize that this person, was doing very obsessive things and very focused and stuff like that. So if you're only a little bit in shape, I'm a little bit passionate about being in shape, I'm a little bit passionate about my my nutrition. Well, are you only a little bit pregnant, or are you a lot fucking pregnant? You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant.
It's either one or the other, boy.
Exactly.
It's either one or the other.
You've got to say, right, when is enough and stuff like that. Now, find out first.
Yeah.
Have you had a real crack at being in shape? Most people are going to say no. If you get a lawyer, if I don't know anything about legal stuff and all that, I'm going to get a lawyer. If I don't know anything about accounting, I'm going to get an accountant, or, and things like that. But when it comes to fitness, I'm just going to go on YouTube, or I'm going to go on Instagram and see the people who are, in shape and do what they do, because that's what's going to work for me. No, get yourself a freaking coach, So this is why I say, but it's got to become a lifestyle, and it's got to become a passion of yours. You've got to throw yourself into it 110% and find out. Have a go. Give yourself 6 months. Give yourself a year and a half. Give yourself 2 years to get into shape and feeling good. Because if you've never done it, you don't know. You don't know. You just don't know. So I always say to people, find out. If you want to change your life, change your freaking life.
Done. Right? Is it rocket science? Maybe not. Is it?
Really quick. In my opinion, the whole dysmorphia thing comes from, because you look at people that go and get lip implants, and they get them it's crazy. They're getting all this facial stuff, and it's a real disease. I think there's a difference. I think dysmorphia probably is more of a disease or a mental disease than it is much like, I'll go to the gym and say, where your body can do, what your body is capable of, your potential could be. But I think dysmorphia might go into a whole nother realm of like, mental or something like that. What do you think?
That is for me, when you're taking things to an extreme, like when you got to start changing things with surgery. Now, this is only an opinion, and so I don't want people to get upset, because if you've had a breast augmentation, hey, I got no problems with that. If you've had butt implants or whatever, lips or whatever, it's got nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. Whatever you do,
disclaimer,
as long as you're happy, you're happy. But it's also saying to me, I had an ex-girlfriend years ago who got breast implants because she thought it was going to make her feel more confident. Now, was she? No. She was still very miserable and very insecure after she had her boobs done. So this is why I always say to people, do the inner work first, and then if you still want to get the surgery or whatever like that, then cool, not a problem. That's what you want to do. But if you're not happy beforehand, you're not going to be happy with yourself afterwards. Exactly. So the best thing you can do is get good, healthy nutrition, start working out, find your maximum potential to your maximum, your natural abilities. And then if you want to enhance by all means. But if you have not overturned every stone naturally and healthily that you possibly can, and you're just going straight to the quick fix, trust me, how you felt beforehand, you'll feel exactly the same afterwards, and you'll let it all go again. So it all comes down to that inner work and that inner peace and being happy and comfortable in your own skin. And if you're not happy and comfortable in your own skin before you do anything, then, it's even like I see people, like I've had some amazing transformations physically with people over the years, but they haven't done the inner work. And 5 months later, 2 weeks later, a month later, they're back to even balloon out bigger than they were originally when they first came to me, because the boyfriend left or the girlfriend left or whatever like this, and because they hadn't done the inner work, and it's sad because it breaks my heart.
Right. You always have an excuse, and, it's always going to be an excuse if you know what I'm saying? And also, just to put my disclaimer out there, I've never seen a nice looking butt implant or calf implant. So
I don't know.
I'm not even going to get into.
I've never seen a nice one. I'm like, that's
I'm not
crazy.
even going to jump in on that.
I look forward to the emails. But
I think you're right.
I can't express more that it's an inside job to transform the external. That's what I did. And I'll pound that until the cows come home. Yeah. It's an inside job. Every area of your life is an inside job, and until you start addressing those inner stuff, nothing external. And that's when it comes to your career, when it comes to your family, when it comes to your physical body. Because as we spoke to last time, there's a lot of internal emotions that develop into sicknesses and diseases in the human body because they're trapped emotions that aren't being dealt with, and then they manifest into a cancer or something like that.
True.
Because of blockages in energy systems. So it's a very real thing. It's all about an inside job. It's an inside job.
Beautiful. Well, I definitely appreciate what you do. And I appreciate your words. I appreciate all your comments and your thoughts. Which leads me to James. We have this is something that we really would like people to like kind of get a hold of. If people want to be able to hear you and and talk to you, James put together this link here that allow you to go ahead and explain, James.
Yeah, look, so we definitely are moving into premium content. And the conversation that we had just now with Benjamin, I should have made. Oh my gosh, I feel bad about the link that I made there. Now I got to make a big.
Don't worry about it, mate. It's all good.
But want to give folks an opportunity to have a one-on-one session with him, literally right now. So we're going to jump off of this session, hit that link right there, and we will be in a Zoom room for about 15-20 minutes, and you can have a conversation with Ben directly. You can engage with him, interact with him, maybe book a training session, a life coaching session with him directly, because he's got his practice and he's got his organization. So again, just an opportunity off the camera, off of the record button, and to just really let each other have a conversation. So if you're interested in that, that is the link. Join us. We'll be there in about 10 minutes from now. And just some time to chop it up with Benjamin. So again, we're moving forward with providing premium content. I think we've got a lot of great opportunities going with all of the various streams that we've got within the organization, Hicks New Media, ITN Live, Unscripted, things of that nature. But having these behind the scenes conversation, getting you an opportunity to talk to someone like a Benjamin Artz and really start moving forward in your goals, professional, personal, financial, nutrition, whatever the case may be. We want to open those doors for you. And this is one of those first opportunities that we're doing. So yeah, if you want to join us, we will be there. Like I said, in 10 minutes, hit that link. So there you go.
And we're back.
There we go. Right. I'm just like the Wizard of Oz behind the scenes, you know, controlling the ropes and the curtain. So
I love it.
Yeah,
we close
appreciate
us out, brother.
Yep, we appreciate you coming on the show. We appreciate your the audience for coming in and listening to you and listening to us. We hope to see you in the Zoom, and also just come back next time. We're here every other Saturday at 5 o'clock. So not this Saturday, next Saturday. And yeah, we're going to talk about life, finance, everything.
Bitcoin.
I'll let you talk about Bitcoin next time. You know, he's just dying to
not
talk
Bitcoin,
about
cryptocurrency.
Crypto. That's
the whole
right.
thing.
We're going to talk about cryptocurrency, which is a
gosh.
topic that is near and dear to my heart. I think Milton was on here. He'll let you know. I mean, again, it's an education process. Cryptocurrency is coming. It's coming. Digital currency is coming. They're making CBDCs, which is
He's on a roll. He's on a roll.
bank's digital currency. So anyway, hey, if you want to hear more, we'll see you on the next show. Cryptocurrency.
And
Sounds
Benjamin, next time you'll have your new computer, so you'll even look more crispy and more clean on the next time. So appreciate you, brother. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming. We'll see you in a minute. We appreciate you for everything you do. We out.